and welcome to Jadwiga's Fairy Tale channel. Today I'm going to tell you a story of the Seneca, a story about the very early time of our world. And it's called The Girl That Fell from Heaven. In ancient times, people did not live on the planet Earth, but they lived in heaven. And there was a huge tree, and upon this tree grew corn, and this corn fed the people. Now one day, the chief's daughter became very, very sick, and no remedy, no medicine man, nobody could help her. And she became weaker and thinner, and she didn't eat, she just slept all day long, and the chief, of course, was very concerned. Now, one day the shaman had a dream. He dreamed that if the girl was put under this tree and the tree cut, that the girl would recover and become healthy again. Oh, this was a hard decision, but the chief loved his daughter so much that he decided to do what the shaman's dream had told him. He put the sleeping girl under this tree and took his axe and cut the tree down. And where this tree had stood, there was a big, huge hole in heaven. Now a young man came along and he became very angry and he said, "Oh, chief, whether your daughter becomes healthy again or not, nobody knows. But what I do know is that we have nothing to eat now." And with these words, he kicked the girl with his foot, and the girl rolled and fell into this hole, fell down on earth. But on earth, there was only water at this time, only water, and there lived some birds and turtles and fish. And the birds looked up to the sky and said, "Oh, there's a girl coming down. She's falling down. Let us catch her." And they gathered all together, and the girl fell upon their backs. Now the birds carried the girl around. They did that for quite some time, but then their backs hurt and they weren't able to look for any food because they had to carry the girl. And they called Tortoise and said, "Dear Tortoise, please, could you take the girl for a while?" And Tortoise took the girl upon her back. But she also wasn't able to care for her food and for her children with that girl on her back. So the animals gathered again and said, "Well, we need land. The girl needs land to live, and somehow we have to create some land." "Oh, I know," said Tortoise, and she she swam down on the ground of the ocean and, well, didn't succeed. But then she tried it again, and the second time she came up with a mouthful of earth from the ocean's ground, and the birds put that on the tortoise's back, where this tiny mouthful of earth started to grow. It grew and grew and grew and created an island where the girl could live. And once she had recovered, she built a house there where she could live. Now the years passed, and one day the ocean brought two little boys ashore. And the girl was happy to see other people, and she took the little boys as her children. One of them she called Fire because he was hot-tempered, and the other she called Little Sprout because he was soft and gentle. Now the boys grew up and went for hunting every day and brought back home plenty of food. But when they were grown up, they said, "We want to create our own world. And they decided that fire should go to the west and little sprout go to the east. And on a certain day, they would come together and look what the other had created. So when this day came, they met at their mother's home. And at first, little sprout went with fire to look at his world. Oh, there were huge mountains and deep, steep canyons, and the animals there had long teeth and long claws, and they looked pretty dangerous. Little Sprout shook his head and said, "No, we want to create people, and people are not able to survive in your country." So he made the mountains less high and less steep, and the canyons less deep. And he took some of the arms of these animals so that they wouldn't be so dangerous to people. And then they walked over to Little Sprout's land. The animals there were so fat that they were unable to move, an easy game for hunters. And the trees, all of the trees, bear huge and juicy and delicious fruit. And the rivers did not only float one way, but on one side they floated this way, and on the other side they floated that way, so that it would be very easy to move by ship on them. Fire saw this and shook his head. So he shrinked these fat animals so that they were able to run and jump. And he also shrinked some of the delicious fruit and made them bitter. And he decided that rivers should go either this way or that way, but not both. Because, he said, well, people in your country would become so lazy. They wouldn't have anything to do, and they would not learn to fight. And this is not good. So the two brothers created a world that is not too bad, but not too good. It is just as it is today.